Hello, hello, hello. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Po. Welcome to the Jewpino show. Today we're on the Stourbridge line, the LS Railroad trip in Honesdale, Pennsylvania. And so I started part of the show outside, but I just wanted to do an introduction. It's for the two Virginia's birthdays. We have 3 Virginias today.
Okay, for those of you that weren't on before when I spoke, Carl's going to be doing the narration for you at some point.
Okay, hang on.
When we get to the halfway point, we're going to do a little exercise.
Okay.
We're going to stand up and flip the seat so we face forward coming back. And the people on this side are going to go here, and the ones on this side are going to go here. We should almost have Benny Hill music for that. It's really fun to watch. It really is. This is your audience participation. So Carl will be with you for the ride. I assure you, he's our best. He'll either narrate on the way down or the way back. Remember this side? Keep your eyes open. We've seen eagles. I haven't seen them yet, but they've seen bear twice in the last 2 weeks. I never get to see it. So ironically, everybody favors the riverside. Both times the bear was on this side of the train. So I don't know what side is the best side. You all have a chance. Enjoy the trip.
All right. Thank you. We just got the welcome from the conductor of the train. So that was very interesting. He gave us our instructions on how to flip the seats on the way back. So we hope we enjoyed the trip. I'll try to take as much pictures outside the window, even though I don't have the window seat because we gave them to the birthday girls. All right, so thank you for watching, and we'll see you in... Actually, yeah, they go. Under the Virginias is telling me they got pumpkins up above, but for the fall foliage. But here we are, October 2nd, 2024. And we're on this trip to have a nice time, so I hope you enjoy. Oh, and we got to ask, so don't forget to, if you like the Jewpino show, to subscribe, hit like buttons, that really helps, like this, the thumbs up. And I'm saying too much, because I don't have anything in my head to say. So we're just listening to everything else that's going on while we wait for the train to take off. So in the meantime, welcome to the Jewpino show. Subscribe, press the likes button, and have your friends watch my show too. Thank you. Hello, hello, hello. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Po. Welcome to the Jewpino show. Today's show is we're going on a train ride for just one of these tourist train rides to see the fall foliage here in Wayne County, Pennsylvania, and the home place in Honesday, New York. Honesdale, New York.
Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah, Honesdale, Pennsylvania. Sorry, I haven't done my homework before we did the show, but this is what the train looks like. Right, and we're gonna. It's the birth. This is the birthplace of where railroad train started. Passenger trains. That man was yelling, but he goes way back. Okay, we're just starting the show. Thank you for watching. This is where we're going. The birthplace of passenger trains. That's what I'm trying to say. All right, thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next segment. But this is what we're going to take a ride in today. Thank you. All right, for today's train trip, we're taking what they call the Stockbridge line. Looks like an old diesel engine from probably the 1930s or 40s. It's engine number 54 for all your trains enthusiasts. Maybe you can tell me what kind of brand that is. We're in Honesdale, Pennsylvania. And this looks really cool. This is a refurbished caboose at the end of the line that we're taking today on this trip for the in Honesdale, Pennsylvania, the birthplace of where passenger trains started. They have tours today. A lot of people are coming up in October, on October 2nd, for the fall foliage. Right, there's another engine down at the other side, but I'll probably catch it when I come back. But as they're trying to load us up the train now. I just wanted to show you what it looked like. Okay, thank you, and we'll see you inside probably when we're sitting down. Okay, here we go. We're coming aboard.
Bobby, hold this because I need to hold.
Okay, hold on. Hold on, I'll hold this.
Here.
Okay, here we go. Sorry for all the shaking.
Step as you come down off the
Sorry for all the shaking. We're gonna make it through. Mrs. Jewpino's making it on the step. Okay, we're good. All right, thank you. Wow, look at this train.
Thank you.
Wow, look what we're going into, the old style. Wow, what ceiling room? I'm 5'2", and this has got to be about 10-foot ceilings coming through here. And we're in seats 15 and 16, 19 and 20. Wherever that is, so they say we can do back-to-back seats. They're in the little circles, Gene. Wow, this is kind of cool. It's fall foliage. They got pumpkins all over.
Here.
There, you want to try to push the seat over so we can face backwards?
Here.
Here, this is us.
Virginia. Yeah. Here,
Okay.
this one right here?
Yeah, we're
then that's
these
me.
four. Do you want to put the seat
Yeah,
back?
Mary. No, we're fine. Go here first. Remember, he said if you put
Yeah.
the seat back, you're going to end up
no.
here. Let me go in there. Which one? You want to go in this one? Okay.
Here, you want to go in, out there?
Okay.
All right. Hey, look. We got happy birthday seats.
Happy birthday, Virginia. Oh, that's me.
Yes, that's you.
Oh, my goodness. Can I go behind you?
Sure. We just sorry.
Give me the ticket.
Here's the ticket.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right. I guess
I
they
think he's
put
got the tickets.
Yeah, here's the tickets.
And there's a coffee. Wait,
Ooh, coffee. Somebody brought coffee on the train. How nice. But we say happy birthday to Virginia's.
Okay.
We got 2 Virginia seats. Happy birthdays.
Oh, look at that.
Guys, this is the line outside from the
No,
window.
Bobby, stay inside here.
Okay, all right. We'll see you when we sit down. All right, I'll sit down, take my seat. So we got that big line of all those people got to still come in. All right, here, I'm going to take a walk down the rest of the train, sir. Let me go. And all right, sorry about that. We're just taking a walk to see what the rest. Oh, no. What? They're taking pictures of me already. So, wait, I'm taking a walk down to the other trains to see what it looks like. Wow, this looks like a diner train. It's all the I guess you guys are part of the party, huh? All right. Yeah. All right. So this is a dinner car. I guess there must have been a party going on. Set up the food car. So something we didn't learn about, but okay. So they have the food. I have to figure out what that food thing means. Maybe we have to buy extra for the tickets. So, but here we are back in our regular car. This is the Honesdale Railroad train. I know. Okay, hold on. Say hi. Say, welcome to YouTube, the Jewpino channel. Okay, as we're taking off, just as I finished doing the intro, the train started to take off. So here we are. Yeah, coming out of the station. Next to the Honesdale self-storage. On this side is the town side. Got a lot of people sitting in the way. Okay, so on the road.
You want to go?
If I want what? Look at that. See, on this side, we're just showing the back end where the railroad tracks would be. Not much to see on this side. But on this side, got a lot of flowers. There's a big church up on top of the hill. Oh, look at that church. You can see it through the trees. Today's kind of a foggy day. But the train's moving barely slowly, about no more than about 10 miles an hour.
Good afternoon, welcome aboard.
It should be about 45 minutes down. We'll stop. We're going to ask you to flip the seats, flip sides, so these folks can see the river. Then we'll come back. So 45 minutes down, 45 minutes back. Say about 2:30-ish, we ought to be back. Again, the seats do flip too. If you're with a group, you don't face each other. You just flip the seats. 1920s technology still works.
Wow.
Where you got on the
So
train,
they are from 1920.
all the way down here. This is 4th Street. Prior to December 1898, this was all underwater. This is where canal boats came up. There was 1 million tons of coal on the side of the mountain. Those were the days when you could pile up something on the side of a mountain and there were no environmentalists or whatever to check what you were doing. So 1 million tons of coal sitting up there, shot it down into the canal boats. They came down here, they made a left. You're gonna see a CVS over there. CVS wasn't there at the time. Made a left, and the canal was always on the other side of the river, over there. Never over here, never in the river. And the reason, well, you'll see the river in just a minute, then you'll know why. So again, the canal boats would have made this left over there, and that's where they got on the canal. The canal was 108 miles from where you got on the train to Kingston, New York, on the Hudson River. Originally, they thought they were going to haul the coal up over Music Mountains, 2,000 feet above sea level. They were going to make a straight shot to the Delaware, build rafts, put the coal on the rafts, send it down the Delaware River to Philadelphia. They did that. They lost about half of it. By the time they got to Philadelphia, as I said, they lost about half of it. They said, hey, we bring you coal. Philadelphia said, oh, we're already getting it from Pottsville, Carbon County. We didn't need it. So plan B, off to the Hudson River, sell it in New York, New Jersey, along the East Coast, up in New England. That's what they did. So I mentioned it was 108 miles long. There were 108 blocks. So you barely got on the canal. You had to get in line at the first block and wait with everybody else, one boat at a time into the lock, lower the water level, pull the boat out, take one coming back, so you do it in reverse, fill up the lock. All day, 20 hours a day, those blocks were up and down, up and down. It took over a week to get coal from Honesdale, 108 miles to the Hudson River. You could walk faster than that. But, you know what, 18, 20, 30, 40, that was the internet. That was as good as it got though. There's the mighty Michael River over here. You can see why you never had a canal boat in it, because it's all rocks. In the beginning, the canal was 4 feet deep. At the end, it was 9 feet deep. And there's no way you'd get any of that in the river. There are 2 big dams now on the other side of Honesdale. They regulate the river now.
Take a picture. No, look down.
Because this river flows east into the Delaware River, and the Delaware River is a protected river, there's no drilling for natural gas in the watershed. If you could drill, you could not frack. That didn't sit well with a lot of municipalities and landowners. So about 6 years ago, they took the Delaware River Basin Commission to federal court, challenged their right to tell them what to do with their property. The judge threw it out. As of now, no drilling for natural gas. If you could drill, you could not frack. And that's all because the Delaware River is a protected river. We're part of the watershed. We come under that. So we could be sitting on the largest bubble of natural gas in the world, or it could be a bust. We have to wait and find out. There are eagles that live along the river. There's a mated pair, but you never know when you're going to see them. You know, I would say look along the trees, maybe 2/3 of the way up. You might see them watching us, seeing what we're up to. There's also 2 juveniles. The juveniles are kind of gray and black. They have like circles on their breast. They don't look like eagles at all from the feathers anyway. So a mated pair and then 2 juveniles. Coming up, this is we call this our shed. The tracks run almost all the way through. We could get 2 locomotives in there if we want to. This was a Dairymen's League milk plant. So if you remember Dairy Lee, they used to process milk here. Then it became part of the railroad. Coming up, this is the owner's private coach, Mr. Miles. That was a B&O executive coach. They gave that to the presidents when they went through the B&O system. Calvin Coolidge, Herbert Hoover, and Franklin Delano Roosevelt rode in that coach. I know nobody here voted for Franklin Delano Roosevelt. I can tell. You're too young for that. Coming up, the one under the tarp, the caboose, we think goes back to the Civil War. From the Lehigh Valley, the red one, privately owned. B&O, privately owned by a priest. C&O, privately owned. So there's 3 privately owned cabooses. Plus the green one that's on our train today, that is privately owned. They live in Boston and they're in for the week. So there's 4. We also have 2 privately owned coaches. I'm including Mr. Miles' coach. Then there's another one that they live in Baltimore. They have a privately owned coach as well. So 2 coaches, 5 cabooses. This is my favorite coach. That's a Bud Company coach out of Philadelphia, 1949, built for the New York Central. It needs wheel replacement. Here is the 5th privately owned caboose. This is the sister to the table car that's on the front of our coach today. We bought 2 of them. And formerly they were commuter coaches that ran in Montreal. So they would have had bus seats in them originally. They went up for sale. They went out to the American West, go see the ghost town, go see the old silver mine, that kind of thing. They came up for sale. Mr. Miles bought the 2 of them, that one and the one on our train. So again, that one back there was before. The one on our train today is after it's been overhauled. The locomotive on front today that's pulling us down, that was also made in Canada by General Motors. So we have the 3 Canadian pieces, the 2 cars, 2 table cars, and then we have the locomotive. The locomotive actually pulled those cars when they were running commuter service in Montreal. The locomotive came up for sale. Mr. Miles says, I have to have it. Bought the locomotive, overhauled it, repainted it, and now here they are. They ran in Montreal, they went their separate ways, and now here they are back together in Honesdale. Again, the canal was always on the other side of the river, not necessarily close to the river. You know, the canal had to try to keep a straight line. You know, the riverbank goes in and out, in and out. The canal had to keep a straight line. Those boats had no motors. All you had was a rudder, and you had to try to steer the boat. You had horses and mules providing the power to pull the boats along. So they walked alongside the canal and pulled the canal boats. So you can't turn those on a dime. So they try to keep the canal a straight line. So right now the canal is over where Route 6 is. What's left of it. In December 1898, the canal was drained for the last time. It was always drained in December because if they left water in the canal and it froze over the winter, it would blow out the sides of the canal. So they always drained it in December. They didn't refill it until March. So they had 3 months off. But if you needed coal, they had to have stockpiles all along the route to provide you with coal during the winter. Coming up, this gate is open. We have to treat this like a crossing. So we slowed down. You hear the horn blow 4 times, 2 long, 1 short, 1 long. Now look at this yellow sign there. This has been up 2 weeks. No deer allowed. Is that for the deer? Is that for the hunters? Is that for the workers? What's the story? It's been up for 2 weeks now. I've been doing this 8 years. I have never seen a deer inside this fence. Never. That's right. See, that sign keeps them out. But as I said, if we know they're working here, we have to treat this as a crossing, slow down, and blow the horn. This is the Dane County Sanitary Authority. It's a highlight of your trip.
We just passed the sewer plant. What a tour. What a tour. We just passed the sewer plant.
So as I mentioned, the canal was always drained in December. December 1898, that was the last time they drained it. It was closed from the Delaware River 26 miles back to Honesdale. That happens to be our right-of-way. Where you got on the train, we have a 26-mile right-of-way all the way down to the Delaware River. We could go further, but you have to call New York Susquehanna Western Railroad. You have to get permission. You have to pay money. We have no reason to do that. But we can go farther if we want to, if we have to. There's no freight business, so really that's not an issue either. River's a little murky. We had rain. A lot of times when it's murky, the eagles aren't hanging around here because they can't see the fish. They're going to go somewhere else, a lake or a pond. They'll hunt for mice or whatever they can find, rodents out in the field. Again, we may see one. We do have herons here, white herons, blue herons. They're very skittish though. They hear the train, they fly away. The eagles, they stick around and see what's going on. This is that Japanese knotweed. It's an invasive species. It's horrible. If you cut that all down today, it would be a foot tall tomorrow. That's how fast it grows back. Terrible stuff. And you can see it's everywhere. Everywhere. If you're getting a little muggy in here, most of these windows work. They're a little heavy, but most of them work. So if you need some fresh air, you gotta have both the tabs though. You gotta press both the tabs and lift up. Again, this coach is 100 years old. These windows have warped and stretched and all that, but again, most of the windows do work. The canal company was formed in the early 1820s. It was called the Delaware and Hudson Canal Company. Later on, that became the Hudson Coal Company, the Delaware and Hudson Railroad. The first general manager was a guy named Philip Hone. Hone. Honesdale? Yep, they named the town after him. He was the first general manager. He was a mayor of New York City, state representative, senator, worked his way up, congressional representative, senator. He was a speculator, an investor. Anything Philip Hone put his name on was good enough for everybody else. Everybody wanted a piece of it. In one day, in 1825, without having hauled so much as a ton of coal on the canal, the Delaware and Hudson Canal Company sold over $1.5 million worth of stock in one day at $100 a share in New York City. That made the Delaware and Hudson Canal Company the first $1 million company in the United States. To build the canal, you were looking at over $2 million back then. So that was unheard of amount of money. That also made the Delaware and Hudson Canal Company the largest project in the United States at the time, building the canal. So they were the first $1 million company and the largest project going on at the time. Again, what did they do with all the money? $2 million got sunk into the canal. Prior to that, there was a family from Philadelphia named Wirtz. They had several boys in the family. They would come up here hunting. Now, this was the wilderness. This is where you ended civilization and you started with natives, virgin territory, forests. So they would come up here hunting. They heard the stories of the Black Rock, Carbondale area. It wasn't called Carbondale at the time. They heard the stories. Coal was actually falling out of the sides of the mountain. There was so much coal down in the valley. They went around very quietly and started to buy up as much land down there as they could. If you fought in the Revolutionary War, the government gave you 400 acres as a reward, hoping that you would leave Philadelphia, Boston, D.C., New York, along the coast. You would leave those cities, come up here to the middle of nowhere, and tame the land, push the frontier of the United States further west. Many people did it, and the Wirtz brothers took advantage of that. They bought up as much coal land as they could without telling them why. They turned around, they sold it to the Delaware and Hudson Canal Company, $40,000 in cash, $200,000 in stock. Ever since then, there was a Wirtz brother on the board of directors of the Delaware and Hudson Canal Company. Who bought the stock? The old money Dutch from New York, Roosevelt's, Astor's. Speaking of Roosevelt's, James Roosevelt was FDR's father. He was on the board of directors of the Delaware and Hudson Canal Company. As I said, there was always a Wirtz brother on there too. So the Delaware and Hudson Canal Company had the canal. They now owned all the coal land in Carbondale. They built the breakers. Breakers are just these huge, big, ugly things that they put the coal on the top and they smash it all down into different sizes and it comes out at the bottom. It's called a breaker. So they owned all the breakers, they owned the coal land. The only thing standing between them and Honesdale was the 2,000-foot Music Mountains. That's where Farview State Prison is today. They came up with what was called the gravity line. If you look around Honesdale, you can see Gravity Restaurant, Gravity Road, Gravity Ice Cream. That's what it's all about, the gravity line. If you think of a roller coaster, they would load coal cars to the bottom of an inclined plane. Inside every plane is a horizontal steam engine pounding back and forth. whipping around a big flywheel. On the flywheel was cable with a knot on it. The guy at the bottom, on the outside, had to grab a hook on the lead coal car, throw it in one of those cables and get the heck out of the way. They would start to pull them up. They would let empties go at the top, so they would pass. So full ones are going up like this. Empties are coming down. Full ones up to the top, and they let them go by gravity down the other side. And they always ended up higher than when they started. That's how they climbed, 2,000 feet above sea level between Carbondale and Honesdale. Honesdale's 975 feet, by the way. So once you top that 2,000 foot, theoretically, it's all downhill into Honesdale. It wasn't the case, because in between you'd still have mountains. So they had to put a couple of planes past there to boost the cars along to get them into Honesdale. And that's why it was called the gravity line. Up to the top, and then by gravity, down the other side. They had 16 of those planes. I mentioned about the poor guy at the bottom having to put that hook into the cable. In the early days, they were using hemp rope soaked in tar. I don't know what that was supposed to do. It didn't do much. The rope would break. Then they decided to use iron chain. Iron's brittle. They still had the same problem. If you've got 8 or 10 coal cars holding 6,000 pounds of coal each, and suddenly they're coming down at you dead weight, there is nowhere you could run. There is nowhere you could hide. There is nothing that could protect you. Many men, fingers, hands, arms, legs, many men died because they couldn't get out of the way fast enough. That wasn't until the 1840s. That job got better because of steel cable. John Roebling and steel cable. That's how that job got better. Until then, that's a miserable job. If you worked on one of those planes, your job was never done for the day until you sent back as many empties as you received loaded coal cars. Whatever that was, 300, 400, 500, you had to send back as many empties. That was your work for the next day. So you had to send back the empties. The collieries are running second, third shift. They would fill them up, and then you'd start your day again. You might notice on the rail bed as we travel, you're going to see a concrete marker every mile. That's the letter JC and a number. JC, Jersey City. The number, how many rail miles from Jersey City. Now, we used to always joke, why do they do that? And we'd say, so you don't get too close to Jersey City. But I won't say that, because people might come from Jersey City. That's actually where Erie Railroad had their terminus, Jersey City. So at any time you wanted to know, how far away am I from home? Home being Jersey City. So Erie Railroad laid this rail bed in the early 1860s, right before the Civil War. The canal company did not look on that as a friendly gesture. They were used to having a monopoly. If you wanted to ride an Erie train out of Honesdale, you could go to the D&H station, get in a carriage, come down a mile, then you could get on an Erie train. So they wouldn't even let them come into town. That's not unusual. You could tell what kind of towns they were, who controlled it, by how they named it. Honesdale, Philip Home, Delaware and Hudson Canal Company. Hawley, Irad Hawley, president of the competing Pennsylvania Coal Company. So the Pennsylvania Coal Company had mines in Scranton, Wilkes-Barre. They were watching how much money the Delaware and Hudson Canal Company was making. They said, we could do that. They built a 52-mile one-way, 52-mile gravity line from the outskirts of Wilkes-Barre all through those little towns along Route 81, Duryea, Moco, Dunmore, all those little towns. It came down into Dunmore. You could get passenger service from there in Dunmore. The line continued across where Route 380 is today. If you've ever driven Route 380, connects 81 to 80. Coal cars ran through there. In the bottom of one of those mountains is a 750-foot tunnel that the ATV riders today just love to go blasting through. So the tunnel is still there. You came down into Lake Ariel. There was an amusement park. You could jump off, go to the amusement park, jump back on, head down into Holly. So they were pulling coal 52 miles one way from the outskirts of Wilkes-Barre into Holly. The coal company built a breaker so they could process coal into whatever size they needed. Erie Railroad was more than happy to have empty cars just sitting there waiting to load up with coal on their way to Jersey City. By the way, they could have coal at Jersey City in 3 hours, 3.5 hours. Again, over a week on the canal. Oh, there's the white heron on there on the left of the river. White heron standing there, right on the riverbank.
We couldn't get them. We're not on that side of the train. Okay. Wow. Pretty long.
That's the story of the gravity line. The gravity line ran to the late 1870s. Locomotives were powerful enough by then they could pull that 2,000-foot mountain between Carbondale and Honesdale. By the way, the gravity line from Carbondale to Honesdale, 19 miles. And a lot of that was up and down and up and down. You know, straight shot, it's maybe 12 miles, but that's not how it works. And as far as the locks, the engineering standard for locks that I've found, every 10 foot of elevation, you have to have a lock. So, Honesdale is 975 feet above sea level, 975 divided by 10, there's 98 locks right there. So 108 isn't too bad, you know, when you consider overall. So again, those markers that you'll see every mile, they go back to the Erie Railroad. We still use them today. If something were to happen on the line and we had to call back to Honesdale, the first question we're going to ask, what mile marker? So we still use it today. And again, Erie used it too. How far are we from home? Home being Jersey City. Now you're going to notice there's a lot of no trespassing signs, and you're also going to see purple paint. This side over here is owned by a rod and gun club, a hunting club. Okay? This middle portion was up for sale for about 3 or 4 years. It was a hard sell. This is a flood zone. You can't just do whatever you want. Lo and behold, the rod and gun place, they bought out this property as well, so now they own both sides. I think this is going to stay the way we see it. Trees, brush, whatever. They want to come here and they want to hunt. Hopefully not when the trains are running. We'll find out. But they own, as I said, now they own both sides. The purple paint, if you don't want to put a sign on your tree, you do a vertical purple line on the tree. That's the same thing as telling somebody private property, no hunting, no fishing, no trespassing, keep out. So that's why they do that. And you can see that they even doubled up on some trees. They put the purple paint and they put the sign up. I would imagine the closer we get to hunting season, those signs mysteriously disappear. But you can't do anything about the purple paint. And that's about 16 other states do that as well. So purple paint or the no trespassing signs. I was told the reason for that, say you wanted to yield all the wood out of here. Well, the lumber yard would not take a tree that they knew had a nail in it because they're not going to risk a 6-foot blade hitting the nail. Also, if you put a nail in the tree into the wood, over the years it's going to discolor the wood. So this way you get to yield that many more trees out of your property. So again, purple paint, or you'll see the no trespassing signs. And again, this is all owned by that hunting club out of Honesdale. There's more of that Japanese knotweed.
Okay, if you're tired of listening to the speech, you can always just fast forward. So, through the...
I had a little boy on the train yesterday, I was talking about it. He said, well, he was going to come with his father's blowtorch. So he was going to burn it down. I said, okay, all right, well, I'm going to try.
It's pretty much, I don't
So
know.
we're heading into an area now, it's called White Mills, very little town. That is the home of the Dorflinger Glass Factory Museum. If you like exquisite crystal, heavy, colorful, intricate crystal, that's what Dorflinger made. We're going to pass by what's left of the factory, you'll be able to see it. At one time, 800 people worked there. I don't know where he got them, and I don't know where he kept them, but 800 people worked there. Every president, from Abraham Lincoln to Woodrow Wilson, had Dorflinger crystal sets in the White House. Jackie Kennedy pulled it out of storage when John Kennedy was president and brought it back into the White House. But the company went under 1921. They could not compete with pressed glass. The world's largest deposits of anthracite coal lie in northeastern Pennsylvania. Nowhere else in the world has as much anthracite coal as we do. Anthracite coal is the next thing to a diamond as far as pure carbon. So you got diamond, anthracite, bituminous, call it dirty coal, softer coal. It burns at a lower temperature, it's dirtier, bituminous. Then below there is something called lignite.
All right, we're sorry for the shaking, but that's what you get from an old 1920s
You know, we do have restrooms
passenger
on
car.
board. Through this coach, you walk through the vestibule. In the very front of the next coach, there's 2 yellow doors right there. So there's 2 restrooms right there. We do have one in the table car, but they're having that beer thing up there, so it's best we don't mix our crowds.
They're having
We have 2 restrooms right behind us.
yeah, since we're in the middle of October, they're having an
We also
Oktoberfest
have
car,
our building, and the building will be open when we get back.
which is a beer tasting car. So during the October month, this train has a beer tasting for Oktoberfest. So if you're interested, that costs about $75.
1828, John Jervis, if you've ever heard of the town of Port Jervis, John Jervis was the head engineer. These guys like to name places after themselves. John Jervis was the head engineer of this canal. He hired a young engineer named Horatio Allen. He said, I want you to go to England. I'm going to give you a pocket full of letters of credit. I want you to buy me some of those newfangled locomotives. Nobody was doing anything with locomotives over here. He bought 4 of them from different manufacturers. One was called the Stourbridge Lion. That's it up there in that black and white poster on the right. It was made in Stourbridge, England. On the boat trip over, you had a week, 2 weeks or so to kill. Somebody painted a lion on the head of the boiler, thus Stourbridge Lion, plus 3 more. One of the other ones was called the Pride of Nottingham. Well, that was a British city. So, you know, after the War of 1812, that wasn't going to go over. So they very quickly changed it to the America on the way over. So we bought 4 of them, $3,000 each, $12,000 total. Put them all on a boat. Off to America they came. One fell off the boat on the way over. One fell into the harbor in New York. He's down $6,000. The only survivors, the Stourbridge Lion and the America, also known as the Pride of Nottingham. They took the Pride of Nottingham off the boat in New York. They dragged it over to a machine shop, finished assembly, pulled it over to the financial district in New York, put it under steam. It didn't run. They put it under steam, and they used it to sell more stock in the Delaware and Hudson Canal Company because they needed cash to do all the work they had to do. Whatever happened to the America, nobody knows. I have looked in newspapers for did it blow up? If it blew up, that would have been headlines the next day, right? Nothing. Did the company scrap it? No records in the company accounting books. I say whoever stole it still has it in their basement. The America is MIA. The only one out of those 4 that made it back to Honesdale was the Stourbridge Lion. They brought it back on a canal boat. I'm going to use the word rail. It wasn't rail that we know of. The only people who were doing rail at the time were the British, and they were in no frame of mind to let us have any of it. So we had to make hickory blocks and put strips of iron on top of it.
Okay,
Put
so
it down to the canal boat, they pulled it up, they put it down on the tracks. Again, you agree with
Okay, hang on.
iron.
Hang on, we're going to take a break here because the scenery starts looking the same and we're getting kind of long with the video. So we'll catch you on the way back.
1,000 pounds of water. Let me
right.
break off. It's over here on the left, this corner. If you look diagonal, there's a big stone there with a bronze plate. That commemorates that the lion came up to there, made a left. I live a mile away from there in a little town called Sealyville. The Lake-O-Waxahn flows through Sealyville. So far, so good. They had a bridge over the Lake-O-Waxahn. Okay, no big deal. The railroad went, laid their track under the bridge to get across to the other side. Nobody measured the smokestack, whether the smokestack would fit under the bridge where they laid the track. That's as far as we got, 2 miles. That was it.
Did you throw my
They backed it
cell
up.
phone?
Yeah.
What are we going to do? Talk. Finally, the canal company said, you know, we've got a lot on our plate right now. Take it down to Carbondale. Use it in the machine shops. They had metal shops in Carbondale. So they went down there. And to break it off again, somebody planted all these evergreen trees years ago. They never came back to spray them. They never came back to trim them. They never came back to harvest them. And now it's too late because they all got bald spots. Some of them are diseased. They're too close together. A beautiful blue spruce, and there they are. Never came back. I was eyeing those 2 for the last couple of years, but now they're too big. Here they are. Never came back. But look around. There's no road. How are they going to get these out of here unless they were going to put them on a flat car on the railroad? It's entirely possible. But they never got that far. And there they are. Now it's too late. So they used the lion down there in Carbondale. Eventually, it just got thrown out in the yard, started to rust. Years later, knock comes at the door down there. It's a guy from the Smithsonian. Said, "I'd like to see the lion." Okay, took him out. So see that pile over there? That's the lion. That's what's left of it. Why are you interested? Because according to the Smithsonian, the Stourbridge Lion was the first commercial locomotive bought for a business purpose. They were going to use it to haul coal from that last inclined plane down into Honesdale. So that was the plan, to use it for the business. So the first commercial locomotive run on rail, even though we know they were made of wood with iron strips on them, run on rail in our whole hemisphere right here in Honesdale. That's why Honesdale says it's the birthplace of American railroading. If you want to see what's left of the lion today, if you ever go to the B&O Museum in Baltimore, that's where she is. They took her down there, so you can see what's left of it. If you come out today, if you came down that alley to park, the one side is the post office, the other side is the Historical Society. They have a huge collection of Dorflinger glass as well. So you've got the Dorflinger Museum right along Route 6 in White Mills, but they also have back in Honesdale a huge collection. In the window, you'll be able to see the window when you drive by, is an exact copy of the Lion that was built in 1929 by the D&H Railroad to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the running of the original Lion. They used to use that. They used it in the 33 World's Fair in Chicago. Then they used it in the 39 World's Fair in New York. They had the Lion chug out, steaming and screaming and moaning and groaning from one side. And then they had one of those brand new Art Deco streamlined steam locomotives come out from the other. They met in the middle, backed up. That was entertaining. They backed up. That's what they used it for. When they were done with it, they brought it back. They gave it to the town. The Historical Society built that addition, and now it's stored in there. So that's the exact copy of the Lion. I think the difference is the original Lion probably burned bituminous because that's all they had in England. They didn't have anthracite coal. And then why would the D&H, which is an anthracite company, not burn anthracite coal in their locomotives? I haven't proven that yet. It's my theory that the one in the window probably burns anthracite because that's what the D&H was all about, anthracite coal, hard coal. We're probably going to stop at mile marker 127. Holly is 126, by the way. So let me give you the markers. Honesdale, 136. Holly, 126. Michael Waxon on the Delaware, 110. So you might remember I said we have a 26-mile ride away. 136 in Honesdale, less 110 on the Delaware, 26 miles. That's our ride away. There's a new business, a relatively new business in Holly, rail bikes. That's a big thing now. We're taking old rail trails and putting bikes on them. Started 5 years ago. All of us on the railroad told the guy, it's going to be great when you're leaving Holly going east because it's all downhill. It's going to be all uphill coming back 5 or 6 miles. They were losing a lot of people that could not pedal 5 or 6 consistent miles back to Holly. They had to bring a high rail truck. That's a truck with the wheels on it that adapts to the rails and actually started pushing them back. Didn't listen to us. We all told him. Last year, the man who owns this railroad, his son bought it. So he now owns the rail bike business. First thing he did last year, put 12 electric motors on the bikes. Somebody listened to us, finally. This year, all gone. They're all electric bikes now. I shouldn't even call them bikes, rail bikes. But that's what they are. They ride on the rail, so now they're electric. The 2-seater is 125, 4-seater is 225.
All right, the train has stopped. We're taking a break.
Across from us, I'm going to get out of the way too. This is the hate the conductor part of the trip. I'm going to ask you to get up, flip seats, because we're going to head back that way and change sides.
All right, hang out. We're flipping seats, guys. Everybody's getting
Across from us.
all right, so I'm going to take a pause while the madhouse exists. Okay, hang on. Okay, here we go. We've officially switched sides on the train. So everybody's sitting on a different side. I'm I got lucky. I got to sit behind Mrs. Jewpino. So this is what the riverside, or the canal side of the river looks like on this wonderful Honesdale train trip. There's officially some guy fishing over there. I don't know what he's looking for.
Looking for gold.
Oh, he's looking for gold.
Looking for gold.
Yeah, he's a gold prospector. Modern day, because Mary told me he's prospecting for gold. But I hope he gets silver. Alright, there go the horns. 3 beeps, 1 short one and 1 long one. I was trying to follow that man in the background, but now the train is taking off the other way. Now we're going to get to see the riverside. I know this is probably going to be another long show, but at least I got a window seat this time. And, I hope you picked up all the coming down this way. Coming down this way, we had a tour. The conductor was telling us stories on the way down. I hope you were able to hear them properly. So I was shifting back and forth on between the train and the other side. I don't know how much we got to see outside the window, but at least I got a window seat this time with a clear view. Not too much. We're a little bit too early for the fall foliage. I don't know if you can see some of the yellow trees in the background. But my favorite song, my song. So if you've lasted this long, I hope you hit the like button and subscribe button. Or you know what you can do? Leave me a comment. I like comments. Not too many people leave comments. We have my favorite customers or favorite watchers who watch all different kinds of stuff, but we've had some subscribers leave me messages, like usually funny stuff that I enjoy, because I enjoy talking to my subscribers. And so this is the first commercial railroad line in the United States. It's along Homestead, Pennsylvania. That's what they said. Look at the color of that tree. Wow, very yellow. Ooh, they got a lot of fern here too. The ferns look like they're dying up. But I know, coming from the Southwest in California, I never got to see trees like this. We used to call it moon country because we used to travel through the deserts, and the deserts had nothing but tumbleweeds, or the weeds that used to grow up, and the tumbleweeds are very sticky. But this is kind of interesting, the way the northeast of the United States, especially here in the north side of Pennsylvania, works, and which is the northeast corner of Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is pretty huge, so we're just about an hour over the border from the New York State line, kind of near where Connecticut meets in. Usually New York State looks like a funnel near the bottom. We're in an area at the top of the funnel, so we can get to Connecticut and Pennsylvania very easily from our town in Poughkeepsie, New York. But just some piece of history information if you're ever traveling. The East Coast is very easy to travel to between Boston, New York City, Philadelphia, Atlantic City, and Washington, D.C. are probably all within about an 8-hour drive of each other. So if you started in Boston at like 8 in the morning, by I'd say by 10 or 11 at night, you'd make it down to Washington, D.C. And then you get to see all kinds of cool stuff like this. where else are you gonna get to see wonderful trees? And I'm going to try to get you to guess which trees these are. You leave a comment if you've gotten this far in the video and you want to see here what the tree names are. You can leave me a message below, because I'm not very good at tree names. But as we can see, the water is pretty clear down at the bottom. But you can't see it because of the reflection, because of the sunlight. We can see some rocks down by the bottom along the canal. Right, now as the conductor was telling us that this was for picking up Pennsylvania coal and moving it all the way down to get eventually down into New York City through the rivers and canal systems until they were able to run steamboats. And wow, look at that bend around the river. I wish I could still do river rafting. Right, late in October, the weather's just starting to cool down, so this must be a great place to go rafting in the summertime. But here in the wintertime, it's starting to get a little chilly. If you get wet, you can get cold. Right, and sorry for all the shaking, as we're in an old 1920 passenger car that doesn't have very good shock absorbers, so we're tending to bounce a lot. So this is and I'm just hoping you enjoy the view. That's why I'm not talking too much, so you can listen or just sit here and watch. Turn on your favorite music, put them in your headphones. You can turn off the volume on my video and just listen to music in your headphones while you're watching this on your screen. Okay, thank you. Something that got clogged up down there. Looks like a beaver dam. Some kind of dam. A rock formation clogged up the trees. Oh, the river's back, and here we got another cool bend in the river. It's got the zigzag back and forth effect. We're looking for bears and trees, or bears and eagles. Do you see any eagles or funny birds around? First person who catches a bird on the timestamp, they can let me know. I'd appreciate it. Oh, there's some kind of bridge out there. People are working. Like there was a little bridge right there. Somebody posted. I guess this is like a hunting ground. This is where the man was talking about it being a hunting area, because one of the gun clubs on the side of the railroad tracks purchase the land so they can go hunting. But I guess the posted sign means no trespassing, so it's just meant for the gun club members. Ooh, somebody owns a nice piece of property here. The neighbors are waving. I guess we're on a historical train, so even the neighbors film us when we're coming by. Come up here and visit. They got holly berries on that tree. It looks like they got a chicken coop out there. This house looks like they got chicken and animal coops. Yeah. What? What? No, they have a bathroom in yeah, no, you can go there once we get back to the parking lot. That's where the conductor was saying they're having a birthday party, some kind of picnic or wedding party with 300 people out there. So they're going to stop the train to have a big party out there. So it looks like they... Trip, we had to take a bathroom break. I just wanted to show you what the bathroom on the inside of the train looks like. Oh, look at me. Peace, everybody. That's what the toilet looks like. This is what the bathroom looks like. With the old lighting of an old 1920s rail car. Step out, walk in between the cars. You gotta watch your step here because this is the way it's connected. That's what it looks like as we're cruising by, switching in between cars. Jump. That's it. We made it. All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Whoa! Welcome to YouTube. All right. Woo! We made it. There we go. We had a good time. Walking down the road, we're almost home. Alright. So did you have a nice trip?
I got scared coming back.
Oh no. Yeah, we almost got a trip and we almost had a trip and fall on the way back, but at least we got to walk on the train. Okay. So now we're back to filming on the way back. Would you believe this is part of America? Part of the United States. So if you're watching from around the world, and whatever country you're watching from, that's cool to see what the upper part of the United States looks like. Right. What it's like to be on an old-fashioned 100-year-old train made in the 1920s. This train's 100 years old. Wow, that's pretty amazing that we can build stuff that lasts for so long, or at least keep it updated. Now that's what you call recycling. When the trains can last 100 years. This was pre-bullet train, pre-airplane. Pretty amazing what we've accomplished in over 100 years since the 1800s. Since when this train was built to today, where we can fly cross country. You know what I just noticed too is on these seats, they're pretty amazing. The backs and forth, flip back and forth depending on how we're sitting. But these are like old steel mounts that are on the chairs. And as I'm looking at, they reupholstered the seats, but they have springs in them. They're pretty comfortable. Yun. Oh, he's hunting out there. That man was hunting. He had his gun out. He had his fishing pole out. That's why they were calling him Kuya Kuya. Yeah, so this is what the northern part of the United States, if you ever wondered what it looks like, if you're ever up in northern Pennsylvania. And this is what it looks like in about October 2024, right before Rosh Hashanah. And so if you ever wanted to see parts of the country that you wouldn't normally see, I'm glad you're watching. So you don't have to spend so much money on an airplane. You can just watch this video and enjoy all the trees coming from the old Honesdale Railroad. Just to keep up the prices, they're about $25 for a passenger seat like this. But yeah. So, but the normal traveling tickets are $25, and they have special events like the beer thing. Cost a little more money, beer testing while you're traveling. That was also $25. So how come we didn't get beer tasting? Okay, we didn't plan to head out now because we don't have many beer drinkers other than me. So if you're interested and you want to do beer tasting, okay, so since I'm the only one beer tasting, it made no sense for me just to get beer, but and drive all the way back because we'd have to drive back today anyway. We didn't have an extended period of time on this trip. We just came to go on the railroad. You know who would have enjoyed this is my father, Mr. Dan. Mr. Dan would have enjoyed a trip like this.
So, yung travel lodge, kung nakita namin yung travel lodge, 400 something a night. Ang travel lodge? Oo, ang travel lodge. Yun ang pinakamura ng first.
I guess this
Ano ba
is...
yun? 700 yata. $700 American. 700 ang one first night and then the following day, night. Ibababa nila ng konti ng something yata. So, ngayon, isa na lang ang na. Tumawag si Bernardo sa asawa niya ni Ethel kasi ayaw magpapatuwa. Para na matapos si Bob, na tignan sa online booking na nakakuha na. Dumiretso na kami ng baba. Doon sa baba, pero bago kami umalis doon sa
Yeah, I wonder how much gold is in this river.
asawa niya na
I wonder if they let you mine for gold in this river. If anybody knows and wants to let me know, please leave it in the comments below.
Yung pala bago ka pala doon.
Yeah, this is supposed to be a special plant
Especially the weekend, sabi ko sa weekend. Especially
that the conductor was saying that grows
at saka kung pumunta ka talaga ng weekend,
during the fall months, the winter
kahit
months.
na mag-aeroplano ka, weekend.
Looks like it's covered with ivy though.
You get when the parents when you go, parang kung gagalit ka.
Hey, look at that twisted tree. Yeah, I wonder how much coal is at the bottom of that canal.
Wala ka naman malayo pa yata. Sabi ko, gusto mo siguro mura-mura. Pag ano ka na yung parang an hour away from the city. Oo. Sa hotel natin, hindi ko na tayo ng ano na.
So if you're watching this late at night, I hope this video helps you sleep, gives you a nap, or if you want to take a nap in the middle of the afternoon while you're just watching the scenery go by. The beautiful Honesdale canals that eventually ends up in Kingston, New York, which was the old capital of New York before Albany took over.
Pero maraming parking dito sa pasada yung pero walang available. Kaya ang layo-layo na tinapad namin. So first ko nakalakad ako ng Balangkayo. Pero nung pauwi na kami, kaya talagang matigas na yung tunggo. Sabi ni Bernardo, dito ka na lang ako para na ako kasi may ano siya.
Oh, there's an eagle. There's an eagle. Yeah, we caught an eagle.
Did you get it?
I don't know if I got it or not, but we just had an American eagle just flew by. Baldy, no, an American bald. Of course, he's in America, right? But a bald eagle just flew by. We don't know where he ended up at. But I hope I caught him. No, that was a bald eagle.
Bald eagle?
Probably at the...
You didn't get it?
No, I might have got it. I couldn't catch him close up, right? But I might have caught him passing by. I'm just trying to figure out what time marker I got it at. It's about 9 minutes or so. Here we go back past the sewer treatment plant. It's going to be interesting when you go on the tour. One of the stories I have is when we go to plumbing school. That's one of the first things they do is they take you over an open sewer tank and they test out if you can stand the smell to do plumbing work. Look at these bushes. This is an interesting advertisement. Fire training center. So I guess that's where they go into test to see if the firefighters can go through smoke. Somebody dumped a bunch of tires out there. That's not nice. Unless you can recycle them. Got a turnout track. I didn't notice that we had that on the side. Oh, that's where all these other cars are parked. Privately owned. Right, by I guess Mr. Mills owns all these. It's kind of in the process of being refurbished. Or for private use only. We're pulling back into the train house. Conrail. Not part of the Chicago Railway system. Yeah, but these are the ones, these are the trains that have all been updated. B&R, Lehigh, New York Central. Up to the old antiques. As we're holding up traffic coming through the town of Honesdale, backing into the depot. Loophole. There's an old sign worth money. everybody's taking pictures of the train. They're all happy to see us. I guess they don't get to see us very often. This is a special trip for the train, so even the construction workers were waving at us as we come back behind downtown Honesdale on the back roads. Oh look, they still got old railroad ties with the creosote. You know, those things are made out of specialized cement. And, but as we're coming in the back way, they're holding us in the back end of town on 84 4th Street in Honesdale. Oh look, there's the they've got Civilization. They got a CVS pharmacy. Not that we're advertising, and not that they endorse anything through CVS, but that's pretty amazing as we come back into town. We're slowing down, so I guess we're waiting for traffic to clear. See what the trees look like? The different colored trees next to each other. And then back to the original. Different style trees. That's amazing. Are they turning colors? So for those of you like Jose Fantasticville down in Texas who don't get to see trees like this very often, I hope he enjoys all the turning of the colors up on the mountains as we sit in the back door of these old antique buildings. Honesdale Professional Building. They look very professional in there. Then the Honesdale Remax sign, where they welcome to Honesdale. Past this coming into town. The Remax, they have a pretty nice mural. So if you're ever interested, that's what the town looks like. Oh, they got a bridge, a walking bridge to walk over the railroad tracks. People coming to take pictures of the old buildings. Oh, look at all the graffiti. Old buildings.
We're going to be back in just a second. Our building will be open. If you need restroom, water cooler, hot soapy water, the building will be open for you. Thank you for riding. Maybe someday we'll see you down the road, a pumpkin train, a Santa train, who knows. We'll see you again. Thank you.
Yeah, we'll get to go. They have a pumpkin train, a Santa train. If y'all want to come and do the different holiday trains. Alright, so again, thank you very much for watching. If you really enjoyed it, I hope you give us a thumbs up. If you want to subscribe to see more trips that I go on, please subscribe and hit the bell for the notifications. You don't have to hit the bell, because I don't care. The what bank? Honesdale. Honesdale. They have a big bank over there. Okay, so I hope you subscribe and keep me posted of where your trips are so I can subscribe back to you. Alright, so that's it as we come to a halt. Thank you very much for watching. Alright, bye-bye.